Huh. She just wrote me back and she said thanks. She hadn't seen it. She just wrote me back and she said thanks. I bet she'll post about that as well. It's funny. That's her personal Twitter account. I mean, she's a Russia expert, and I know she has like a newsletter she does, but she's not like writing for the New York Times or something. It's her personal account. So she just she will sometimes make fun of things on her personal account, you know. So I don't expect her. Again, I don't feel like it's inappropriate what she posted at all. Sorry, I'm checking some of the Telegram channels too. Just checking some different outlets here for updates. Here's something about Council of Europe. Some of you guys have written in about this. The Council of Europe calls themselves, I believe, like the most prominent human rights organization in Europe. Let me show you something about this. Russia pulled out of the Council of Europe. Council of Europe, the continent's leading human rights organization. Has an annual budget of €500 million. Okay, so this is from The Guardian. Members of parliament from across the continent have voted to expel Russia from the Council of Europe over the invasion of Ukraine as a further sign of the Kremlin's estrangement from the Western democratic order. This is from The Guardian. The vote has huge symbolic value, although it is also something of a formality after Russia announced earlier today it was quitting Europe's leading human rights organization, effectively jumping before it was pushed. Members of the Council of Europe's countries voted for a resolution that said, in the common European home, there is no place for an aggressor. Russia's withdrawal from the organization, which was created in the ashes of World War II to protect peace and human rights, is a highly symbolic moment. Russia's withdrawal means it will no longer be party to the Convention on Human Rights or subject to judgments of the European Court of Human Rights. Russian citizens and human rights activists will be denied the protection of the court, although Moscow often ignored the judgments. Hey, a quick thanks to our YouTube members. Thanks, YouTube members like Nati Rios, Denise Horton, LNG, The Big Cat, Chuck Norris, L. Deuterino, Rosemary Hill, AFK, AKF, Max, Braden E. Nelson, Akeem Idler. Really appreciate all of our members. Don Teller, Rune Gronbach, Kitten Duo, March, M. Barnamy says, why isn't Ukraine taking more of an offensive role? From my understanding, the Ukrainian military has Russia's military capabilities are superior to Ukraine's. So Ukraine does not want to get into big battles, big set-piece battles with Russia. Ukraine has adopted this strategy of, from everything I understand, of smaller attacks, ambushes, so I'm in terms of they're not going offensive, they have a greatly inferior military. So what they've seemed to do is do things like opportunistic attacks on supply lines. They're trying to negate Russia's advantages. So I don't know, I'm not a military expert, but I've read a lot of analysis. I don't know that they really have the forces or the capability to go on the offensive. I think their strategy seems more like to kind of slow down the Russian offensive. And then Michael sent me this. The hacking group Anonymous claimed that they hacked into the Russian firm nuclear plant. I don't know what that means. Anonymous defaces Rosatom. That's a Russian nuclear agency website. Starts to leak gigabytes of data. I don't really know much about this. You can check that out at Anonymous. Simon Skimona says, the point is, how long will they be able to slow them down for? Look, they've been stuck for days and days and days. I want to say weeks. Once again today, the U.S. military said, the U.S. Defense Department said that there was no significant progress being made by the Russian forces. I've been talking about this for weeks. I've shown you experts talking about this. So a lot of analysts think they're having problems with supplies, with morale, et cetera, et cetera. But that, to me, that's the big story, as the same as it was the last few days, the same as it's been for a long time. The big story is Russia not making much progress in their advances and being stalled out in a lot of places, especially on their advance to Kyiv. That's the big story. We don't have the new assessment yet from Institute for Study of War. Remember their assessment yesterday. Remember what they said yesterday. Russian forces made small territorial gains in the far east of the country, but did not conduct any major attacks towards Kyiv or in northeastern Ukraine. And they also said Russian replacements and non-Russian sources, including Syrian fighters in the Wagner Group, are unlikely to enable Russia to resume major offensive operations within the coming week. So we'll see what they have to say today. U.S. defense official today to Jeff Selden. Russia ground forces making limited to no progress in achieving their objectives in Ukraine. By the way, I keep seeing this reported. Just to remind you, the woman who held up the sign on the no war sign on the Russian news show yesterday, she has been fined, but that was for a video she made. So she still might get punished additionally for holding up the sign. From Max Seddon, she has been fined 30,000 rubles for her video, the video she made explaining why she protested. But she hasn't been punished for the protest itself, at least not yet. So she could be. She could be. I would think I want to get the ISW update for today. I don't think it's come out yet, so I'd like to get that out, be able to look at that. Hold on a second here. The really big question is if Russia keeps not making a lot of progress, how long are they just going to sit in the field? There's numerous experts who say that they can't just indefinitely keep this huge amount of troops out there in the field. That they're in the cold, they're not eating well, there's morale issues, they'll have shortages of stuff like ammunition. How long do they keep sitting out there? Michael Kaufman says their fighting effectiveness will get worse and worse the longer they're out there without a break. So if they keep not making significant advances, how long are they just going to sit out there for? But it's from everything I hear from various experts, they say this can't just go on month after month, leaving these troops out there. That's the big question. I saw an article by Lawrence Friedman today who talked a bit about the state of things. He's a professor of emeritus professor of war studies at King's College London. I really like his articles, and hang on, let me go down here. He has it. Here it is, right here. He says the Russo-Ukrainian war has settled into a pattern of Russian failure to achieve core military objectives, combined with a readiness to inflict death and destruction on the Ukrainian people. While some Russian attacks, such as those that on the training base near Lviv over the weekend, have a discernible strategic purpose, most are indiscriminate, and other than vengefulness, their purpose is less clear. They have evidently not made it any easier for Russian troops to enter cities. He says, whatever the purpose, causing hurt, the military priority for Russia has left Russian war aims even more confused than they were 3 weeks ago. Anyways. He is not optimistic about Russia's military prospects. Of achieving what they originally set out to achieve. He says, we are now beyond the point where Putin has much face to be saved. Even if it were a priority for the major powers to save it. In launching this disastrous war, he has revealed himself not only to be a vicious bully, but also a deluded fool. Anyways, if you want to read the article, this is called The Bankrupt Colonialist. It's interesting. It discusses, one thing it discusses is how much damage is being done to Ukraine and the money that's going to be needed to get Ukraine back on its feet after all this. Assuming that at some point the war ends and Russia's not in control of Ukraine. Oh, hold on a second here. I would really like to see the Institute for the Study of War daily update. When are they going to come out with that? Let's see. When do they usually come out with it? Yesterday they posted it at 5:52, which is right around now. So I'm waiting for that. Last night there were a bunch of, many of you know, there were a bunch of missile attacks on Kyiv. I think the most they had there. We'll have to see if that happens tonight. You can see Russia bombards Kyiv as European leaders arrive in Ukraine's capital. Wall Street Journal says one missile destroyed a building associated with an arms maker in central Kyiv in a pre-dawn strike. 2 apartment buildings were hit, setting fire to one of them. I have a hard time thinking that this is just going to go on day after day after day. I mean, given what I've heard various analysts say. I'll be interested in seeing if these negotiations go anywhere. The negotiations that are ongoing. As I mentioned, as we talked about before, Zelensky's advisors said there is certainly room for compromise. He's at the negotiations. He's one of the negotiators. All I know about the Fox reporter is that he lost part of his leg. That's what the Ukraine government said. He lost part of his leg. That's all we know so far right now. Look at this. All these like individual people just suffering. Look at this. This is from BBC. I'd only seen war in films. Now I have lived it. Tetyana in her damaged Kyiv apartment. There's a building right there. Look at this. Tetyana looks lost. She is cleaning her apartment after a missile blast smashed the windows in her apartment block in a sleepy Kyiv neighborhood. No glass is left to protect her from the early spring wind. Her balcony is reduced to rubble. She says she woke up to the air raid alert around 4 a.m. today and saw missiles flying in the sky. I walked away from the window and then boom, shattered glass hit my back. I was shocked. She lives in one of 3 multi-storied residential buildings damaged by a shell in Kyiv. In one of them, 5 people were killed. Now she plans to temporarily move out of the apartment where she's lived for 33 years and where her granddaughter grew up. I only saw the war in films, remembered it only from TV, she adds. Now I've experienced it myself. Lucky she's okay. Our viewer Inbal says, I don't see Russia bending on a single one of their demands. Unfortunately, the only way out of this is defeating the Russian army. UK intelligence just came out with a new update. They say, UK Ministry of Defense, they say Russia is increasingly seeking to generate additional troops to bolster and replace its personnel losses in Ukraine. As a result of these losses, it's likely Russia is struggling to conduct offensive operations in the face of sustained resistance. Continued personnel losses will also make it difficult for Russia to secure occupied territory. Russia is redeploying forces from as far afield as the Eastern Military District, Pacific Fleet, and Armenia. It is also increasingly seeking to exploit irregular sources such as private military companies, Syrian and other mercenaries. Russia will likely attempt to use these forces to hold captured territory and free up its combat power to renew stalled offensive operations. So let me actually post this here. UK Defense Ministry. As a result of these personnel losses, it is likely Russia is struggling to conduct offensive operations in the face of sustained Ukrainian resistance. Again, that I think is the lack of major Russian offensive operations has been the biggest story, I think, for weeks now. We've been talking about it. So what does Putin do? If he thinks they're bogged down, what does he do? What does he do next? Still no Institute for the Study of War update yet. All right, give me one moment here. I am waiting for that. No, I have not read any analysis that suggests Ukraine is going to be able to start pushing Russian forces back from Kyiv. I have not heard any experts say that. Dallas Alice thinks Putin's going to go full tilt nuts. I'm very concerned. If he thinks it's not going the way he wants it to and doesn't see other options. Look, a lot of people are concerned he might use weapons of mass destruction. All right, give me, I just need 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. I'm coming right back. We'll continue our live coverage. Thanks for your patience. Has the Institute for the Study of War posted their daily update yet? They still haven't. They still haven't posted it yet. The first gentleman, Chris Majarian, says COVID-19 has entered the White House in a potentially significant way. The second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, tested positive earlier today. Vice President Harris skipping this equal pay event that is about to start. She was with President Biden earlier for bill signing. Harris tested negative so far. Biden last tested negative on Sunday, according to the White House. So the husband of Vice President Harris has tested positive for COVID. So just updating you on that. That news just came out, by the way. Just seeing it posted a bunch of places. There are signs, in Europe, the COVID cases are really picking up. And then I know there's some signs of it happening in the U.S. too. But here, let me just show you this. Eric Topol posted this. The new Europe wave is gaining steam. COVID cases, also some countries have hospitalizations going up. But I'm guessing it's going to happen in the U.S. too. A number of members of the U.S. Congress have tested positive recently too. Okay. One of our viewers mentioned Intel Crab. Unconfirmed explosions are heard from the scene near Bilhud, Dnistrovsky, Odessa. Maybe there's missiles being fired by ships. Ships have fired missiles before in this conflict, in this attack. I don't know them. Thank you, by the way, to John Curley. I appreciate that, John Curley. Thank you. Also, Beetletuba. Iowa, thank you to Beetletuba. Thank you, Beetletuba. And our new member, Rick Smith. Thank you, Rick, for becoming a member. I am still waiting. They're late today. The Institute for the Study of War, they are late with their daily assessment, I feel like. Oh, the new assessment. Breaking news, new assessment. This is what I want to show you. Thank you, Stuart Bell, by the way. Stuart says, do you think Russian citizens could force a Putin retreat through protests? Right now, the protests aren't nearly big enough. They have so many police out in Russia arresting people for anything that even closely resembles a protest, that the protests would have to get so much bigger than they've been. So right now, that's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. But who knows? If the economy keeps getting worse, who knows? Thank you, Stuart Bell. Let's look at the latest assessment. Supposedly is up. Okay. Local company and battalion level attacks by Russian forces northwest of Kyiv on March 14th to 15th likely indicate the largest scale offensive operations that Russian forces attempting to encircle Kyiv can support at this time. Russian forces did not conduct any offensive operations in the past day northeast of the city around Sumy, and only limited and unsuccessful attacks southeast of Kharkiv. Russian force generation efforts, including reservists and conscript call-ups and the ongoing transport of Syrian fighters to Russia and Belarus, are unable to change the balance of forces around Kyiv within the coming week. Russian forces have not conducted simultaneous attacks along their multiple axes of advance across Ukraine since March 4th and are unlikely to do so in the next week. How about that? I'm going to post that. Again, this is the new assessment. So they're saying the smaller attacks northwest of Kyiv likely indicate the largest scale offensive operations Russian forces can attempting to encircle Kyiv that can support at this time. Russian forces in southeastern Ukraine continue to demonstrate the greatest capabilities to date and are steadily advancing in three directions. Northeast from Kherson, although it appears that there might have been a Ukrainian attack in Kherson today. We'll have to see. Taking territory in Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts and reducing the Ukrainian pocket in Mariupol. Russian forces are unlikely to successfully encircle Mykolaiv and threaten Odessa in the near future, but retain uncommitted naval infantry reserves that could conduct an amphibious operation or disembark to reinforce Russian ground operations, as Russia has employed naval infantry elsewhere. Russia may seek to encircle Zaporizhia by advancing northeast up the west bank of the Dnipro River after failing to break through Ukrainian forces directly south of the city on the east bank. Russian forces are making slow but steady progress against Ukrainian defenders on the line of contact in eastern Ukraine and the Donbass, and likely seek to force them out of their prepared defensive positions. With Russian forces likely unable to complete the encirclement of Kyiv or resume mobile offensive operations in the northeastern Ukraine in the near future, the Russian capture of the city of Mariupol will likely be the next key inflection in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, Russia has basically been starving Mariupol out. They have, for over a week, no power, no cell service, no water, no heat in Mariupol. It's a humanitarian disaster there. But Russia has not made a major attempt to fight its way through the city. There's still Ukrainian defenders in the city. Russian forces have successfully encircled Mariupol and are conducting daily assaults on the western and eastern outskirts of the city. Russian air, missile, and artillery strikes continue to target residential areas and civilian infrastructure to force the city to surrender. Russian forces have encircled the city to a depth that will likely prevent the defenders from breaking out and prevent Ukrainian efforts to relieve the defenders. Russian forces will likely be able to capture Mariupol or force it to surrender despite strong Ukrainian defenses. The Russian capture of Mariupol will free up Russian forces, likely including large portions of the 8th Combined Arms Army. Now, I will say this. Based on what I've heard, I find this very overly optimistic. I've heard numerous analysts talk about how difficult urban fighting is. It's supposed to be like the most difficult fighting. This assessment just assumes that the Russian forces are going to be able to go in Mariupol and take it over by force, by fighting their way through it. If nothing else, from everything I hear, if Russia tries to do that in the city, they're going to take major losses, even if they do capture the city. So just to be clear on this, they say the supposed Russian capture of Mariupol will free up Russian forces to threaten Ukrainian defenders along the line of contact in the Donbass with encirclement, blah, 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 blah. This assessment assumes that the defenders in Mariupol will run out of ammunition and or water at some point in the relatively near future. That's why they're saying they think that Russia will be able to take Mariupol. They think the defenders will run out of ammunition and or water. Mariupol has been heavily fortified for years, however, and it is possible that its defenders secured sufficient supplies in advance to hold out longer. The Russians will likely continue to escalate bombardments to the point of simply destroying the city if that appears to be the case, but the reduction of Mariupol in this way, not fighting their way through it, would take considerably longer. Okay, so they did talk about the potential difficulties in taking Mariupol. Key takeaways. Russian forces are unlikely to launch offensive operations to encircle Kyiv larger than the scattered Russian attacks observed northwest of Kyiv within the coming week, but may launch further tactical attacks. Russian forces continue to assault Mariupol from the east and west. Russian forces did not conduct major offensive operations toward northeastern Kyiv in the past 24 hours. Russian forces attempting to encircle Kharkiv continue to face supply shortages, particularly regarding ammunition. The Russian military falsely claimed to have captured the entirety of Kherson Oblast on March 15th, but did not conduct any major operations either towards Zaporizhia or Mykolaiv. Russia is unlikely to launch an unsupported amphibious operation against Odessa until Russian forces secure a ground line of communication to the city. But Russian naval infantry do retain the capability to conduct a landing along the Black Sea coast. Okay. Here's some specific details here. They think Russian forces will likely capture Mariupol or force the city to surrender within the coming weeks. But that assumes that the defenders run out of ammunition or water, they're saying. The Institute for the Study of War continues to assess that Belarus is unlikely to open a new line of advance into Ukraine. Ukrainian counterattacks and operations by the Territorial Defense Forces in northeastern Ukraine threaten Russia's exposed line of communication, requiring Russia to redeploy forces away from the offensive towards eastern Kyiv. So it's interesting. For a while, Institute for the Study of War kept saying day after day, they would say, we expect an attack on Kyiv in 24 to 48 hours, and then in 24 to 48 hours. Then it became 24 to 96 hours. Now they're saying they don't even expect an attack on Kyiv in the near future. They're saying they don't even think Russia has the forces now to surround Kyiv, and they're saying that they think Russia's going to try to attack Mariupol. They have not done this in the whole war. Russia has not done some kind of huge offensive into a city, into a defended city. That'd be the first time they did it. Anyways, the Institute for the Study of War, you can go read that yourself, but that's their new assessment. I think this is very interesting, though. Russian forces have not conducted simultaneous attacks along their multiple axes of advance across Ukraine since March 4th and are unlikely to do so in the next week. Some people are asking if you can do airdrops of food supplies. Well, Russia, no, any kind of plane that flew over Ukrainian airspace has the risk of getting shot down. So no, now Ukraine is flying some planes, but, you're saying, could you, I don't believe, I think it would be very dangerous, given that Russia has the city surrounded. I've never heard this brought up by an expert. I would assume it'd be too dangerous for any kind of plane to fly over because Russia would have anti-aircraft. That'd be a capability. That's what I would assume. But it's terrible there. It's a humanitarian disaster there. Also, people can't really go outside there. We've heard this again and again, that people can't really go outside freely in Ukraine, in Mariupol, because there's so much shelling going on. A quick thank you, by the way, to Gino Fast. No, YouTube is still up in Russia, as far as I know. It has not been taken down, from as far as I know. Thank you, Gino Fast. Thank you, Stuart Bell, our new member, as well. Thank you also for your support, Evan, our viewer Evan. Thank you, Evan. All right, let me just see if there's any other updates I want to show you. There's a bunch of accounts reporting that Russia lost another major general today, but none of them are the ones that I don't feel comfortable retweeting any of them. So maybe eventually one of the accounts I feel more comfortable with will post it and then I'll retweet it. But it's apparent there's photos floating around of another Russian major general who was killed in action. But I can't show that on the air. What is this? This is a purported video posted by what is it here? TPXA on their Telegram. They say this is from Kharkiv tonight. It says Kharkiv bombing for more than 3 hours.
Уёбки ебаные заебали. На нахуй. Ебать.
Again, they say that's from Kharkiv, which has been heavily bombed for weeks now, including a lot of civilian areas destroyed. You said this morning Kharkiv got hit really, really hard. Oh, I'm going to post it now. Oh, no, I can't post it then. Oh, I did post it. I did post it, but it was covered up. Earlier today, I reposted Kyle Glenn saying that there was a photo release of purportedly a killed Russian major general. Oh, Michael Horowitz posted it. Okay, I just retweeted it. I can't show it on the air. I retweeted the photo, but Michael Horowitz also posted. He posted the photo that was not blacked out. Okay, let me just check. You know, a point to keep in mind, though, and I've said this before, Michael, I think I said this before, Michael Kaufman, I tweeted this out. Michael Kaufman, who's a military analyst, said that it's not that uncommon for Russia to lose off like a major general because the officers in Russian armies fight more in the front than they do in the armies of other countries. So he didn't think it was that uncommon. And he's an expert on the Russian military. So just to put that out there. I retweeted a post of his, I believe it was, or somebody who was talking about what he's. I think I retweeted Ben Judah saying he heard Michael Kaufman said this, but I heard him say it myself. So just something to keep in mind. Timothy Carnegie said that the Fox reporter passed away. No, the Fox cameraman passed away, and their Ukrainian producer, journalist who was with them passed away. The Fox reporter is apparently still alive, but lost some of his leg. Our viewer, Silly, I can't even, chat is moving too fast here. I had Silly's comment, now I can't see it anymore. Silly says Russian GDP is going to shrink so much. It was bad before, now it's going to be just nasty. Ponicus, our viewer, says Kyiv was the primary goal, but they thought they would ride right in. Okay, do I have anything else here? Shashank Joshi, who's with The Economist, says Foreign Office was said to be urgently investigating a report that 3 former British soldiers were killed in the Russian airstrike at the Yavoriv base near the Polish border. 3 Britons killed by the cruise missile attack were former soldiers. There were apparently a number of volunteers, soldiers at that facility, so that might have happened. He just posted that. All right, I think I don't really have any big updates to give you right now. I think I'm going to maybe wrap up this live stream. We came on early today. Which I prefer to do, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So I think I don't really have any major updates to give you anymore on this. So I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream. And look, if there's big news later tonight, I'll just come on the air. So we can do another stream. But I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I very much appreciate you joining the stream and watching, and also all of the help. A lot of you have been sending me news updates and a lot of interesting comments and questions. So thanks for your participation. And please keep the people of Ukraine on your thoughts. They did nothing to deserve this. They have been invaded unprompted. Their homes and their businesses are being attacked. People are getting killed. People are getting starved. There are millions of Ukrainians who've been forced to leave their country and flee their homes through no fault of their own whatsoever. It is absolutely horrendous. Let's hope it ends soon. It's just terrible. And more people are dying and suffering every day. So please keep the people of Ukraine in your thoughts. We'll have more coverage of this. I will, again, if there's big news tonight, I'll come back on the air. And also, I'll post on my Twitter account with updates as they come in. On Twitter, I'm at @Lookner. You can follow me there for breaking updates on this and other stories. And this channel is Agenda Free TV, so subscribe, follow, so you know when we're coming on the air. If you subscribe on YouTube, make sure you click the notifications bell and you choose all notifications. I very much appreciate our moderators. They are always in the chat. They are amazing. They're all volunteers. They're the reason we can have civil chats and not unreadable chats. So thank you so much to our moderators, such as we've had Linda Belk in there for part of the time in Twitter, Sarah, Alexa Fulmer, C. Michelle Sparks over there on YouTube. But very much appreciate them. Huge part of the channel, the moderators. Our Facebook mods like Bud Green, K. Larry Body, Roxanne Betke, Margaret Riley. Twitch moderators. Duck Soar, Idaho Star, Mark and NC, Papa Bear, and Schultheis. Thanks to all of our moderators. Very much appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who donated to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I do this full time, so the donations are just what lets me stay on the air and do this every day. So thank you to everybody who donated. I think I got everybody in YouTube already. I'll thank the people who gave Facebook stars in a second. If you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. And speaking of donations, I also wanted to pass along for people who, sometimes people say to me, hey, do you know of a place to donate for Ukraine? So one place I have donated to help people in Ukraine is this site called Global Giving. Global Giving is an organization which, when there's like a big tragedy, they find local places that they think are good, and they take donations and they give it to like local organizations that they think can most help people. Like this is the Global Giving site. So I've donated to this, Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund, Global Giving. They say, all donations to the Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund will support humanitarian assistance in impacted communities in Ukraine and surrounding regions. Global Giving's local partners are bringing relief to terrified and displaced communities. And they do these campaigns when there's a big like disaster or great need or something. And like, if you go to Charity Navigator, Global Giving, they have a very good rating there, and you can read about them and stuff. So that's if you're looking to donate, that's a place I've donated. I've donated with that to Global Giving for several different things over the years. So just a suggestion, if you're looking. You can go to Global Giving and read about it if you want. Okay. Also, a quick thanks to David Knudsen. Thank you, David, for your support, David Knudsen. Oh, by the way, if you want to know before we go on the air when we're going on the air, you can follow us on Twitter, Agenda Free TV on Twitter. I always post there before we go on the air and to give a heads up. That's Agenda Free TV on Twitter. So you can follow that and turn notifications on. And then also you can get notifications by signing up for the Discord. The Discord is a place it's a chat room. It's free. You can chat with other Agenda Free TV viewers when we're not on the air. Between broadcasts, the Agenda Free TV fan Discord, check it out. The link's at the bottom of the YouTube video description. Our moderators can post that link as well. And if you have the Discord app on your phone like I do, it'll actually pop up on your phone. An alert will pop up on your phone before we go on the air. So that's a good way to find out when we're going live. So check out the Discord. If anybody's interested in being a volunteer moderator, you can. That'd be awesome. We can always use more moderators. Although I think on Twitch right now we have a big backlog. So this is aside from Twitch. On Twitch, hold off for the moment. But everywhere else, if you're interested in being a volunteer moderator, ask the mods for more information. Thanks everybody who's asked about it on Twitch. We have to go through some of those applications and inquiries. Quick thanks also to One Chill Hill and Citrus Creations. Thank you very much. Okay, and I want to thank our YouTube members. Very much appreciate all the support of our YouTube members such as Stuart Bell, Don Teller, March, Kim Jimmer, Brenda Triplett, Selwood 2, Rune Gronbach Kitten Duo, Ace Ramon, Christine Rizzo, Neebe, Adam Wilson, Paula Faust, Hebrew Florida Boy, Penny S. These are all of our YouTube members. Not all of them, but a bunch of them here right now. Beltway Kid, Paula Faust, Breaker, Thomasana Hall. Did I get it right? Wormhog, Sherry Not Shirley, Connie Fernandez, Xylee, Chuck Norris, Naiti Rios, all of our other members too. Thanks, members. Queen of the South, Rita. All right, let me just thank some of our viewers for being here. Thanks to everybody watching on Twitter and participating in the chat. People like Tom Smoth and Lynn Halifax and Andy K. And everybody else watching on Twitter and participating over there. Thanks to everybody who's been watching on Facebook and in the chat there. Oh, thanks, by the way. I gotta thank people for the Facebook stars really quick. I think I got most of the people before, but let me just say a quick thanks on that. Thanks for the Facebook stars. Kay Lowry Body, our moderator. Thank you, Kay, very much. Earl Harris, Tracy, Denise Cioli, Helen Anderson, Todd Taylor, Marcus Bell, Mike TL, Heather Keith Penna, Robin Pilas, Valerie Maglioichetti, Pam Georgia Carver, Anthony Baker, Russell Spencer, Jocelyn Mealy, Alicia Rivera, Linda Cosma, Laura Sluice, John Gates, Oksana Didu, Jessica Sejo Castellana, Adam Roy Sparks, Chelsea Eberhardt, and Charles Puri. Thank you. And our Facebook viewers and chatters such as Angela Morgan, Dan May, Paula Thompson, Duster Singer, Barbara Brill, Cora Petnicki, Patricia Morano, Facebook does that closed caption. I'm glad they do it. I appreciate them doing it. They have live you can turn live captions on Facebook. You can do it on YouTube too. Trisha Liderson, thanks for watching and chatting. Angela Mongan, Timothy Cornegay, Penny Beth Faulkner, Ardis Caverlin, Todd Taylor, thanks again, Todd, for the stars. Krista Barker, Jeff Sheeta, Heath Wall. Also, and all of our other Facebook viewers, thanks to everybody watching over there on Twitch and chatting on Twitch, like Callie Memphis Girl, Demon, Stunned in the North, Beatniks and Brubrek, Jason Strafe Them, Moscow Manlet, Artful Nothing, Freedom is Pepsi or Coke, A. Charles, Utah, Mercurius, iPlayer, ZZ Fly, C6MFG, Little Joker, 11 Glowfly, Johnny Autonomous, Who Shot JR, Wheelie HD, Artful Nothing, Sovereign Bohemian, Fat 64, Captain Hardship, NGM, Sidewalk Connoisseur. Mininfo. These are all in Twitch here. Physician, SBT. And everybody else watching over there on Twitch, thanks for watching there. And our YouTube viewers and our chatters, thank you for watching there. Carlos Rosa, Sky Full of Stars. Stephanie Childs. Gigi, Cindy Jones, Miss Sal. Super Lit Luigi, one of our members. Brainy Janie. Cindy Jones, The Kingwin. Polly Roots. Antonio, Proactive Design. Sage Winchester. Zombie Carrots. Thanks everybody watching and chatting there on YouTube. Lefty's Right Witch, Jack Delaney. Hold on a second here. Sherry Herman. Joe F. And Copper Horse and everyone else watching over there. Call Jimmy McGill and others. And a quick thanks to Teresa Mella. Thank you, Teresa Mella. I appreciate it. Okay, let me just so let me just do one last quick check here. Again, if there's big news, I'll come back on the air. I'll also be posting updates on my Twitter account. So I'll be certainly keeping an eye out for what's going on. Sorry, just checking for some updates here. Just want to make sure. Really quickly, hey, I want to show you this really quick. I know I said we're getting off the air. This is from the Armed Forces of Ukraine. They just posted an update. Armed Forces of Ukraine. Offensive operations ongoing. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay, they claim that the enemy has lost 40% of units. They claim. That's a big claim. They say as of March 15th, the enemy has lost, completely destroyed, or lost ammunition to 40% of units involved in the conflict. Again, this is coming from their military. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. That's what they claim. That's the Facebook translation. Let me see how others translate it. Oh, look at this. Hold on, look at this, guys. Joseph Dempsey. March satellite imagery at planet of Kherson Airport from today appears to show a number of Russian helicopters destroyed or damaged. following reported Ukraine strike. So we were. I'm sorry, I was just about to get off the air. This literally just got posted. Got posted 1 minute ago. There have been unconfirmed reports of a Ukrainian attack on the Kherson airport, which is controlled by Russia. So Joseph Dempsey is saying this new satellite imagery seems to show a number of Russian helicopters damaged or destroyed. How about that? He does military analysis with IISS, Joseph Dempsey. Paul McCleary, who he is with Politico, he just said, wow. So again, this is from, I retweeted this if you want to see it, from Joseph Dempsey. It's new satellite imagery that appears to show a bunch of Russian helicopters destroyed. Let me show you here. Kherson Airport. This is where we're talking about, in Kherson. Kherson Airport in southern Ukraine. JB says, starting to look like maybe we're sneaking some CIA drones in there to supplement the Turkish ones. Blowing up whole airfields of choppers is a little conspicuous, though. I don't know what the ammunition used was. Artillery, drones, whatever. But it's a pretty striking photograph here. Anyway, sorry. We were literally just. This just got posted right as I was about to get off the air. Very interesting. By the way, this is interesting too.